Hello, Shaune. I'm so happy being with you. I'm here with Chaune Schafer, who is leading and ministering, leading the Queer Enough ministry as a mission developer. So we are very happy to be with you. And I'm wondering, like many people in the synod also, like what moved you to be in this position and what is exciting you? Why you accept this to take the lead? Why accept this role in taking the lead in this development?
Yeah, I think for me, what has drawn me to help facilitate Queer Enough is essentially out of necessity. Being part of the church, starting my college in the last 15 years, trying to find a space where I feel like I could show up and fully be myself, and being in churches that hadn't necessarily done the work to make that possible, and being in spaces where I showed up and said that who I am is not enough, or I do not belong here, and yet knowing that faith was really important to me, and knowing that the people who are saying you don't belong don't get a monopoly on spirituality or on faith or the divine, and saying I want space to heal, I want space to question, I want space where I think the words have come out, where sacred doubt can occur, where we can just hold that well. And so as I've heard about Queer Enough and got involved in Queer Enough previously with the past organizer, I saw the potential to be able to be in a spot where I could show up and be fully myself, and that there is nuance, and that we can hold tension well, and essentially create a space where people are allowed to be themselves and to not know. And that idea of having uncertainty and being able to still be held feels really beautiful and really powerful. So for me, Queer Enough feels like a space where we don't have to prove ourselves, and we don't have to show up with it all figured out. And that one of my favorite things that keeps coming up is messy is good. We see Jesus healing with spit and mud, and I always think that's kind of gross, and yet how beautiful that it's in the mess and the uncertainty that so much repair and healing and growth can happen. When I think about Queer Enough, I think about all the potential for folks to show up as they are, and for it to be messy, and for that to be okay.
Thank you. I really like the sacred doubt, the space for sacred doubt. And today, or these days, you are listening many people and talking about Queer Enough with other queer folks, people, friends, allies in other congregations. And so tell us, what are you doing now? What are you doing?
Yeah, so this is where I feel like it's a huge privilege, and I still can't really believe that it's real, that I get to wake up every day and schedule my days around interacting with people and getting to hear stories and share how life is. Because to me, that's where the good stuff is. We just get to hang out and connect and listen well. And for me, I think the most beautiful part is I've learned that I'm not alone, right? A lot of the experiences I've had, or the ways that I feel maybe isolated or layers of shame, as we share story and as we connect and we listen well, we realize that we're not alone. And that's given me a lot of encouragement. So as I am talking with our queer community, it's really hard. I think, just to be honest, there's a lot of anti-LGBTQ legislation. There's a lot of loud anger and hatred, and that feels scary. And so for us to show up and recognize that we're scared, and yet the underlying theme that I've seen in all of my one-on-ones and what I'm finding in myself and the people closest to me is that resiliency and a fight for beauty and for life is just so evident in our queer communities, that as I'm interacting with everyone, I feel really hopeful despite knowing how hard things are. So that's what's been life-giving, is just getting to hear how folks are fighting and making the most of what feels maybe really hard right now, but holding on to hope expectantly, knowing that things are going to be okay and we can work towards that together.
Thank you, Shaune. This is a short presentation or a short introduction to the Synod about your ministry. Count on all of us. You are not walking isolation. You are walking with many people, and a lot of people in the Synod pray for you, for your ministry, and support you. I know that you have been engaged with Shepherd of the Valley, with David Epplesheimer, with Henry Martinez, also in Beaverton, with Spirit of Grace, doing the Queer Grace, all of that. I'm glad that you are connecting Storyline, other ministries, and at the same time you are developing through your relationships with other people what queer enough could be. So thank you so much, and see you soon.